You know I try to be a good man, I always give it my best. But truth be told, someday I wanna go to the wild, wild west.
And now, live from our smokehouse studio, it's time for Real Estate Jerky. All your real estate questions answered by a provocatively lean expert host, Ed Parcaut, MBA, veteran, and president of Lending for Living. And today's special expert guest, real estate advice you won't find anywhere else. Plenty to chew on, starting now.
Hey, good afternoon. It's great to be here. I'm with my guests. I have Amy Vickery. How you doing, Amy?
Great.
And I have Betsy Hurst-Younger, who is a realtor at Century 21 Wildwood Properties. And I kind of jumped ahead because Amy needs more than just who she is. She is also, you were for this Modesto, Stanislaus County, correct? Mm-hmm. What do you do there?
So I am the Director of Legislative Affairs and Communications for the county.
But then you also give your time to Leadership Modesto. Right, and that's why you're here today. You are part of the steering committee for the Leadership Modesto.
Yep.
And I'm also on that committee, but I won't say much today. I'll let you talk. And then Betsy's coming back like she always does. Thank you, Betsy, for coming down and
Happy New Year.
Getting through all that snow that's up there.
Not yet. Supposedly happening tomorrow.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Usually there's way more snow up there than there is now.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, one of the reasons that we do Real Estate Jerky is because a lot of people went through the downturn and their kids saw what happened to them when they lost their homes and they lost certain things, and now they didn't want to buy homes because their parents lost their homes. And we're trying to tell them that it's very important to go out there and buy real estate because that's how you build personal wealth. And that's why we do the show. And a lot of people ask us, why do we bring on committee stuff and other stuff in the community onto the show? And it's because where you buy, you want to be part of that community where you live. And I think Leadership Modesto is one of those things that is very important to our area. And how I got involved with it was when I first moved back here in 2002, someone said, you need to go to Leadership Modesto and go through the process. And I'm thinking, I didn't know anybody in it. And it wasn't until my wife went through it a couple of years ago. And then she says, you have to do this. And then I did it the next year and then been involved ever since. So that's why we're here. And that's what we're here about today. I know we have a script and we try to keep to it, but Betsy, what do you have going on? Do you have a Leadership Modesto in your area?
We actually have
not Modesto.
Leadership Tuolumne County.
Yeah.
We do. It sounds very similar. Ours is run, though, through our chamber. And if someone wants to apply, they need to contact the chamber. And I hear it's a little bit longer than a 6-month program.
Yeah, ours is a 1-year program. Mm-hmm. So, and it is supported by the chamber. Amy, jump in anytime.
Okay.
I've never known you'd be so quiet.
I'm sort of waiting to be called upon.
There's no call upon here.
So.
That is only there so when we forget what to talk about, we have something to go back to and throw in. Normally, it's just, let's just talk and see what's going on.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you get involved with Leadership Modesto?
That's a good question. So I heard about it probably, maybe about 20 years ago. And I heard about it from a couple of friends, childhood friends who were in business locally, who had gone through the program and really loved it. And one of them had joined the steering committee and approached me about joining the program or being a participant in the program. So I looked into it a little bit, knowing that it was a chamber program. I kind of poked around online and talked to the chamber president at the time. And I decided to apply, knowing that the time commitment was pretty minimal and that it would be, I thought, a beneficial program for me, even having grown up in Modesto, to learn more about what our community offers and more about how things run and get involved in a deeper way. So I went through class of 2010, 2011, which is crazy to me. That was 10 years ago.
It is 10 years.
So I went through, fell in love with the program. I've been a community cheerleader for a really long time, and I wanted to stay involved. So the following year, I decided to join in the capacity of being a day chair. And so I chaired Community Service Day, which took the class around to see the nonprofit efforts.
Day chair, for people who don't understand, is somebody who runs that day, is responsible with that day. Normally it could be yourself to another person, a few other people. Just throw that in real quick. Go ahead, Amy,
yeah, sorry about that.
No, I just wanted, a lot of people are all of a sudden listening and we're going through the whole thing. They don't understand the program. So keep going and then we'll break it down what it is.
So yeah, for a few years, I was a day chair and helped host the class when they learned about community services that work to help people in need in Modesto and surrounding areas. And then I was asked to join the steering committee, which I did. So I've been a part of the steering committee now for probably, I don't know, 7 years, I would guess.
And you're
it's
running
great.
it now, right?
Well, now I'm co-chairing it with Tim Harms, and it's a lot more responsibility than it was before.
What are you looking at me like that for, Betsy?
I
But
recognize that last name.
Tim Harms.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He should be doing this too.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
next time.
it's a different job these days.
Yeah. But no, we have a really great steering committee. Ed Parcaut, the famous Ed Parcaut, is one of our members. And we've got 10 people who run this program. It's all volunteer based. So we've got day chairs who volunteer to help host the group each month. And then our steering committee that helps kind of guide the program. And then the chamber who adds administrative support.
So
Yeah,
is it a different theme every month? Like
Correct.
media one time,
Right.
community services another time?
I'm the liaison for the healthcare day.
Okay.
And of course, my wife's one of the day chairs.
Of course.
Of course. Why not? Let's make it. So in our area, you got to get Kaiser.
Right.
You have doctors, and you have Memorial. So they all usually get involved, and then so the part of the group gets to go there and see what behind the scenes kind of thing.
Now, does it take all day to do that? Or
One
is it
day
just
on Friday, 8 to
Okay.
5, pretty much. Just
Okay.
figure that day once a month on Friday is gone. And when we went to Kaiser, I was shocked to find out that they have a whole power plant there
Oh, seriously.
in a totally different building. It's like you walk, because you know about Kaiser Hospital. I do anyway,
Yeah.
because we have Kaiser, because my wife works there. But no idea that they have this whole backup power, and they have generators, they have diesel engines, huge diesel engines in there to run it once the power goes out. And it's amazing what they have. So you don't understand what's going on in your community unless you go through a program like this.
Right.
And you don't have to be a business owner to do this. I mean, because a lot of people think, well, it's only for business. No, it's for everybody in a company to understand more about the community that they're involved in.
Right.
And so one of the days, healthcare day, you want to go through the days real
Yeah.
quick?
So, I mean, it starts in the summertime when we select the participants for the program in the incoming year. We do interviews in June and July. We select participants. There's a big welcome reception in August. And then the year really starts in September when we take the class to Pacific Grove for a weekend retreat. And the retreat is such a great time for the class to really build relationships among one another and get to know each other. It's leadership, exploration, and development. It's a lot of sharing personal stories about yourself and what you do in the community and your personal life even. And then it's a lot of just fun team building stuff. It's a really great weekend. And then from then on, we have, as Ed said, one day a month where we bring the class together. And then in the interim, they're working on a class project, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, at some point.
Right.
But it starts with Arts, Culture, and Community Day in October, and that's a class led by Kate Trompeter and Dave Rogers, and it's so great because you really get to see all of the creative things that are happening in our community, and it's takes a backstage tour of the Gallo Center, and they visit the State Theater, and there's pop-up dancers. We've got a Central West Ballet group here, and then we've got like a poetry scene, and we've got art galleries, and it's a jam-packed, really great day. And then it goes to Community Service Day, which I touched on a minute ago. And then there's Education Day. And for me, the year that I went through, I think one of the most impactful experiences was Education Day because I had no idea what all the educational opportunities that there were in our community for students. The Stanislaus Military Academy in Turlock just blew my mind when I saw these high school students who had come from really rough backgrounds doing like drills and
See, I've never even heard of that.
learning,
Yeah.
learning to be disciplined
Right.
and really being cared for in a different kind of environment. That was shocking to me. So I thought that was cool. And then it goes to Business Day, Development and Infrastructure Day, Local Government Day. There's a State Government Day where they take the students to the state capitol. And then we have a Public Safety Day, Commerce and Ag Day in the spring, and Healthcare Day, as Ed mentioned. And then there's a graduation, and it's a really cool experience.
And the best part when they started off is you get to go away for a few days to get to meet everybody and become a group, because most years you stay in contact with those people forever.
Right.
You're connected for here going forward. If you need something, you call somebody, they can help you find somebody else. There was a guy in our class, I mean, he probably found 5 people new jobs during the whole period of time. He was just that connected when they're thinking, I want to go. And he's like, you need a job? Here, he found him jobs. Not that everybody wants to leave, and that's the reason. I'm just saying there's other reasons. So you get connected, and people help you throughout the rest of the way. So, hey, we're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we'll pick this right up, all right? So if you want to leave us a comment or call us, you can say the key phrase you dial pound 250, say the key phrase Real Estate Jerky. Man, it's been a while. And we'll talk to you when we get back. Take 3 weeks off, see what happens?
I know.
All right. So,
Am I talking too much?
no, you're good.
You told me to
But
talk.
you're doing this.
We
You
need
gotta
to
love
bring
the mic. You gotta talk to the mic the whole time. Yeah, that's fine. That was the only thing. That was it. No
I'll
big
work
deal.
on that.
Yeah. There's some people who do this. Okay, yeah, we were going. You were just like this. And if you look at her, you gotta just.
Yeah.
That's it. No big deal. How do you want when we get back? You want to pick up. What part do you want to? So I want to make sure we cover everything on Leadership Modesto. We kind of gave the overall. Let's talk about one of the reasons why we're here is because we're going to opening up for applications.
Right.
So we'll bring that up when we come back.
So then will we talk a little bit about who we're looking for the program and how it works?
Sure, Amy.
Okay.
However you want to
Because
do
one
this.
of the ladies that works in my office, Allison, is in the program up there right now, and she said she was actually like someone suggested to them that she do it, like to the chamber that she do it. And I mean, I've never been asked to do it,
You should do it.
but I've been PTA president. I've been the president.
You're not
of the board.
somebody I know that has to be asked to
I
do
know.
anything.
But I might,
Jump in.
I might
Alright, so
jump in
here-
and say something
alright, so
like
we
that
stop.
because there will be people out there like that.
Stop. This needs to be on the air.
Yeah, I know. That's what I
Not
told
on the
her.
YouTube channel, but on the air. All right, so.
It was funny, I was telling somebody what the topic was today, and I told them, I said, I was kind of always born a leader, because when I was in second grade, I had my mouth taped shut in class in front of all the kids, because I tried to tell the teacher how to run the class. And that's what my report
Awesome.
card said.
You're perfect for the
Betsy
program.
tries to tell the teacher what to do. Tried to tell her how to run the class.
You guys ready over there? This is 12 minutes, right?
How's my hair?
Beautiful.
I like this. You know what? We should hang
I'm
out
a grandma.
more.
It's just that one little part like kind of pooped up.
He's teaching the other guy who's going to be taking over.
I was talking to a lady at the
Real Estate Jerky is back on Power Talk 1360. Chew on that.
That's right, we're back. And if you're just tuning in, I'm Ed Parcaut, mortgage advisor at Landing for a Living, and your host. I'm here with my guest today, Amy Vickery, and she's here as a capacity for the co-chair steering committee of the Leadership Modesto program, and Betsy Hurst-Younger, realtor at Century 21 Wildwood Properties in Twain Harte. So when we were going to break, we were talking about the program, and I think one of the things I want to bring up is the reason I wanted everybody on is usually in January, we kind of start applications and stuff like that. And that's why I wanted to have the show in January so people understand that that's what we're looking for. So why don't you explain what we're really looking for and how the process is?
Yeah, it's a pretty basic application. And if you go to modchamber.org, you'll see under the programs tab, Leadership Modesto. And if you click there, we are in the process of updating the 2019-2020 application with the 2020-2021. So if it's not up yet, check back. But we are going to start building the 2021 class very soon. And applications usually open sometime in the spring, February, March, and we're going to try to get a jump start on it this year. And then the application period is open for a little while, and then we close it and we start to review the applications and we interview people in June and July. It's not a complicated application. There is a fee to participate. It's $1,200, a little over $1,200, I think now. But if you look at training programs and seminars and things like that, it's really not an expensive fee, and the business usually covers most of it. We ask the individuals who are going through the program to pay $295 of it, but we're really looking for people who are interested in being more involved in the community, from young professionals to seasoned leaders to even retirees. Anybody who's interested in getting more involved in the community, learning about how the community works, getting a behind-the-scenes sneak peek at how everything comes together. But, it's really just people who lead or want to lead, representing a wide variety of professions. We've got people from the business community, banking, healthcare professionals, educators, nonprofit leaders, law enforcement, local government, lots of public sector people, really, real estate, elected officials, lawyers, runs the gamut. So,
How many applications do you average?
we usually get somewhere between like 30 and 40 applications a year. It just depends.
And how many people get accepted into the program?
Between about 20 and 30. And it really varies from year to year. We have decided in the last couple years that we like the smaller class size. We think that they build relationships better and more quickly that way. So this year we have 24 in our class, and we really like that size. Last year I think we had 22, and we really liked that size. So
Yeah, the really big classes, you kind of feel like they get lost.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's just so many people.
Well, and if you're taking people around to different businesses and, in the community,
Yeah.
you got to make sure they can
Accommodate them.
Yeah, hang in the same
Well,
room.
also they got to split them up into two parts. It's easier with 12 people than it is,
Right.
15 people each group. So
Well, and we've got to charter store buses, and we've got to book rooms in Pacific Grove, and so really, the smaller the group is, the more manageable it is. But you don't want it too small.
no, and the one
Give
thing about
everybody an
the
opportunity.
the fee, I think it's around $12.75. Basically, that covers your stay over in Pacific Grove
Right.
for
Oh,
the
that's-
few days that you're there, and
Right.
your food. So I mean, you think about it, right there's almost half of it,
Right.
right? So you're really not paying much to be part of the class the rest of the year.
Well, and if you're self-employed, that's a tax write-off.
Good job there,
Very
Betsy.
true. You want to be on the steering committee?
Actually, we were talking
Don't
during
ask
break.
me. I'm always a yes person.
we were talking about this during break, and Betsy was talking about she's never been invited to the one that she's up in her area. And I think, wow, I've never seen Betsy have to be invited to anything. She's an agent. They normally are there first,
Yeah.
or control it. So I think what we should do is see that maybe we can get a commitment from Betsy that she's going to look into it in Tuolumne County and be part of that program this next year. What do you think? See how that
I'm
works for me?
Yeah, I was going to say,
No
I have a
pressure,
hard time
Betsy.
saying no. I have a hard time saying no. I
So
think
that's
that
a
would be
yes.
a great idea.
Yeah, I think so too. So I think you should be involved, and you should get more involved up there. So
Even
I mean,
more involved.
Well, the issue is Betsy can go to the store and then hit it. 10 or 20 people will know who she is. So, but
It takes 2 hours to get through Safeway
Yeah.
on Sunday
Aw.
afternoon.
That's so
Yeah,
sweet,
I
though.
know.
It's like Mayberry up there.
It is. I know.
it's not that bad.
No, it's actually fun. And people. Someone said, "Is that part of your business plan?" I'm like, "No, that's just part of my life."
I love it.
That's
I
the way it
feel
is.
like we all
Yeah.
want that sense of community, right?
And Modesto's, pretty much. I find out here that there's no 6 degrees of separation, or you're talking 1 or 2 degrees of separation, in the Modesto. So you need to be nice to people.
Very true.
Because you never know when you need that person, right? Because you'll be mean to this person, and then like you'll need them in 6 months from now or something, So please be nice out there. So back to Leadership Modesto.
yeah.
The application process, our plan is I've always wanted since I've been involved that it's a year-round process to get in the applications that are year-round. Because a lot of times we go through businesses and they go, I want to get involved for next year's class. Can I have your application? And we go, sorry, it won't be up for another 6 months, right? And by then people forget.
Right.
And so hopefully with this program on the radio and people hear about it, they'll want to get more involved.
Well, because by the time they apply and the time that they're chosen, months go by
Right.
Correct.
too. Yeah.
And even
That's
during the
very true.
process or even the program, people can change jobs during the program. They'll be at one place, and the next thing you know, they're at another place through the program, which is still fine.
And that could definitely work long term. I think we need to look into how to make it more of a year-round kind of continuous process. But the fact that it relies on volunteers, sometimes things change. I mean, we're really kind of waiting on our day chairs to tell us what day works best for them sometimes. And when things change, that can be tough because we ask all participants to make sure that they're there and present every time. So
Yeah, there's only
If
so
they
many.
miss-
I think you can only miss two
Right.
classes.
Well, I
or
wondered
days, I should say.
how that worked for people that have a regular schedule as opposed to someone who's self-employed.
Easy. They just have to. They have to let their
Ask.
bosses know that hey, if I'm gonna. A lot of companies are like, yeah, please be part of this, and they understand that Friday
And they
is the
encourage
day.
it.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Once
one
a month.
Friday a
Yeah.
month.
Right.
That's it. So we do ask the participants to look at their calendar and make sure that the dates of the class year coming up are going to work with what they've got going on. And so that's part of it. And then they go through this interview process, which is, can feel intimidating. I remember when I went in and I had a panel of like 4 steering committee members, I was like, oh man. But instantly you realize they're just cool people who are like excited about bringing you into a program that is going to get you plugged into the community. So it's not that bad.
And they want you to learn about the community.
Yeah.
So, and one thing about the program, we were going to bring this up later, is you have a project you do part of as a committee.
You said there's some type of homework.
Well, there's each week or, each time you're going to have that Friday, they might send out, hey, here's some homework to understand what we're going to do tomorrow on that day. Okay. But there's actually a project you do. And that can be anywhere. What's the projects they used to have? Because lately the project's been huge.
Yeah. So
last few years.
They have been everything from let's redo the clothes closet at Interfaith Ministries where people come who are in need of services. Like let's paint the walls and redecorate it, to let's raise $75,000 and rebuild the park at Griseda, the playground. It really runs the gamut. There was a class who did like a regular once a month volunteer day, and it didn't cost them anything. They didn't raise any money. So it really it all relies on the class to decide what is.
Because one year they did 10th Street downtown where they changed it from 2 lanes to 1 lane and they put in the planners. And then I think every year I was in, we did the sidewalks in front of Gallo that are the music symbols.
Crosswalks.
Oh, okay.
Crosswalks.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, and then the next year they did the park, and then the next year they did Foothill Horizon up there. So it's just whatever they want to do is what the class, there's no guidance, whatever it is.
This year's class is looking at raising money for Without Permission, which is a nonprofit in our community who helps children, women, boys, men who've been victims of human trafficking, which is such a worthwhile cause and really a human tragedy I don't think we talk enough about, because for a long time we've thought about it as kind of a third world problem, but it's not. It's here and it's horrific. So I'm really pleased to see this class stepping up, and really early on they kind of knew what they wanted to do. It's exciting.
That's a good cause.
Yeah.
I know I'm a member of AAUW, American Association of University Women, and countrywide they try and raise awareness for human trafficking also.
Yeah, that's awesome. So my class, when I went through, we did a benefit concert. This is when we still had the Fat Cat downtown on 10th Street. So we had a bunch of local bands come in and play on stage, and we charged for tickets, and we gave money to Camp Taylor, which is a nonprofit that helps children born with heart disease or children who are suffering from heart disease. And it raised money for their strategic plan so that they could figure out long-term how to be sustainable as a nonprofit. They were kind of just getting up off the ground. And I just heard this week that they broke ground on some property that used to be the county honor farm. So
nice.
It's moving forward. It's good to see things like that come to fruition.
Yeah, so it's for me it's a really good program. I got to know stuff about different places I had no idea. And I hear that a lot where people go, I had no idea about this. One of the things we went to during the time was we went through Gallo and we went through their bottling facility where they showed, and that was amazing that they make all that glass there, and the fact that they have so many tanks of wine that's for years and years, even if they don't make any more, they have enough for that. And it's stuff you don't think about. It's right here in your backyard.
Right. Right. No,
so.
that sounds like fun, actually.
Yeah. It is. We'll leave it at that.
Did you get to taste some wine?
I was going to say.
No, every
Did you
year.
taste some before this? Just today?
No, not today. No. But thank you for asking.
No,
It is kind of
checking.
early in the day.
Yeah, it is.
You never know when you start, but I guess it's 5:00 somewhere, but not for me. We're going to go to a break. We'll go a little early and then we'll pick this up when we come back. All right, so we're going to go to a break. If you want to get in contact with us, you can hit #250 from your cell. Say the key phrase Real Estate Jerky. You can find us on the internet. You can find us through Twitter, and you can email us at radio@realestatejerky, and we'll talk to you when we get back. Sorry, I'm lost here on my pages.
I want to know where the name Real Estate Jerky came from.
Something to chew on.
Yeah, we give you something to chew on. So I came up with that in 2010 when I was doing a blog. I was everybody was doing blogs and stuff online. It was a big thing, and I'm like, the name. I came around. I was like, Real Estate Jerky. I'll give you something to chew. Hey, that's perfect. And so I did that for about a year, and then I stopped. They came to me and they're like, we're gonna want to do a radio show. It used to be called like Central Valley Real Estate or something. And I'm like, what about? I don't care if you like it or not. Real Estate Jerky. And then they started going crazy what they could do with it. So
You're so awesome.
Really?
Really?
You're so awesome.
Really?
let's have that online. Let's have that on
Okay.
because we need to talk about stuff. So we'll bring that up on there.
Okay. I thought we had passed that piece.
No, see the thing was nice about
Yeah.
it. We could go back to one of the things at the last 9 minutes. I always want, and I say I want to go. Let's see what we covered, see what we haven't covered, go back to it and re-bring it up because a lot of times people don't catch us in the beginning. They come in halfway through the show.
Oh, so you might repeat some of the stuff.
Right.
Okay.
And like we had one of the elected officials on, right? That coming to be mayor, right? Doug Reidner. And someone left a message at 12:30. Are you going to have other? And if they would have listened to the whole show, at the end it said if you're elected, if you're going to be one of the people running for the elections and you want to be on the show, please contact us. We'd like to have you on.
Yeah.
You follow me?
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah. All right.
Are
So
you
next.
let me talk about some of my
Yeah, we're going in
listings?
there now. So we'll come back and then we'll let you bring up about the homework real quick.
Okay.
And then once that's finished, then we're going to have Betsy talk about home buying deals in her area. That'll take about 3 to 4 minutes, and we'll get back into Leadership Modesto. And then we probably 6 minutes of that, and we'll take a break, and then we have 9 minutes to finish everything up. Does that work for everybody?
Good deal.
When you're ready.
Leaving the bull behind. It's Real Estate Jerky.
And we're back. If you're just tuning in again, my name's Ed Parcaut, your host. I'm here with Amy Vickery. She is the co-chair of the Steering Committee for Leadership Modesto program. And I'm here also with Betsy Hurst-Younger, who is a realtor from Century 21 and Wildwood Properties. All right, so during the break, you wanted to explain to Betsy what the homework was, because I think a lot of people are worried about homework. When you say the word homework, they think of, they got to do the math problems with their kids these days, and nobody does regular math anymore. It's that hard stuff that nobody understands. So why don't you explain to us about the homework you were thinking about?
Yeah. So, no, you won't be like at the library
Common
looking
Core.
through the Dewey Decimal System about how to research things and writing a paper. It's stuff like be thinking about what nonprofits in the community you've supported in the past and why, because we're going to have a discussion about that on Community Service Day. Things like that. And I know this week the class is doing Business Day, and their homework was to listen to a podcast. I think something about like how things are made. And then there's going to be a conversation about it among the class and with the day chairs. So it's not anything super time intensive or complicated or intimidating. So don't be scared.
It's not like an app on your tablet that you have to sit there and do a bunch of.
No, it's not continuing education
Okay.
for real estate
No.
or lending.
Nope.
You won't be
Like the
tested.
day that we had, it was, I think Kaiser was the first year they were part of it, and they sent out the homework about who Kaiser was and how they got started. And it was amazing how that they got started. It's like you think Kaiser's this huge thing, and it was set up to just help one little community out, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger. So, and that's what it is. It's not a big deal. It's just they want to make sure that you're ready for that day.
Right.
Because the day chairs put a lot of time in to make sure that it's a great day, plus make sure there's food and all that. So they want you engaged, and that's what they want. So please, and it's important because you don't get anything out of anything if you're not
So if
engaged.
you get a background
Right.
about it before you go,
Correct.
that's good.
Correct. Yeah. Speaking of background, what's going on up in the real estate up where you're from?
A background or backwoods?
Either way, it works for you. Whatever works for you.
Everything's going really well up there, actually. Our weather's been great, and we had a nice holiday. It was a little different having the holidays in the middle of the week, that's for sure.
That was definitely different.
Yeah. It's, I don't know how many people said, what day is it today? Yeah, because I couldn't figure it out.
For me, it's like this year, there was no real time off for me. It was my
Right.
busiest December and January in history because the rates have been so low.
Right.
So everybody's buying. And I tell everybody the best time to buy as a buyer is December. there's 10 days a year, and I put this out for everybody.
Right.
The best 7 days are in December for a buyer to buy. So don't stop looking when you're trying to buy.
And the other 3 are this weekend?
Yeah, that's right. It's actually right now, anytime you can get a house right now, it's the best time to buy right now. Because rates, I mean, are so low. I'm quoting, and I'm just going to throw it out example. I don't really, is like somebody, 2.875 15 year, 3% for a 15 year. It's pretty ridiculous out there what you can see for rates right now.
Right.
You know, so.
You know, and if you choose to buy a cabin and Airbnb it, you can cover your payments. I mean, people are doing that all the time up there.
Right. Or just buy it to live in.
Or buy it to live in.
Or visit.
That's where you're going to get that great rate.
Right.
I know.
And a lot of people can buy a second home with 10% down. They think they have to have 20% down or more, and you don't. So.
I should do that. You want to lend me some money?
Sure. Go ahead,
I was gonna
Betsy.
say,
You want to talk about?
Well, yeah. You know what?
You never let me talk. So
I do too. I've been really patient this time.
this time.
This time.
All right, go ahead,
So if
Betsy.
you're
I'll shut
looking
up.
for that great knotty pine woodsy cabin, we've got one right now up in Miwok, and Miwok is about 5 minutes above an elevation above Twain Harte. And if I'm talking about Twain Harte, and you guys are in the Bay Area or you're down here in the Valley, Twain Harte is about 2.5 hours from most Bay Area locations, and only a little over an hour from Modesto, because I just came down from there.
Right.
And anyways, this cabin is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's, like I said, it's got lots of knotty pine. It's on 0.42 of an acre. It's got private, forest type backyard, and it's on Lama Tomalin Road. And it's only
cute.
only
It's really
200.
cute.
Yeah, $269.9.
I know.
Yeah.
The prices are on sale up there right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then I've talked about Twain Harte Lake before, and we've got a home that's considered fairly new because it was built in approximately 2003, and that's new for up there.
Right.
And it's over on Sierra Drive. It has lake membership, and if you aren't familiar with lake membership, you have to be a member of the lake in order to be able to use it. And there is a $6,000 transfer fee and only $375 a year to maintain that membership. And that's a home.
And there's a waiting list if you're not already, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to buy a home that actually has the membership. And if you would like to buy a different home and keep your membership, there are different rules in order to be able to do that, and you can transfer that membership. But this home is, it's over 2,000 square feet. It's got a lot of knotty pine wainscoting, and it's very updated, and it's on Sierra Drive, and they're asking $529.9 for that. To be a little bit different, I have an equestrian center listed for sale out in LaGrange. It's the Mariposa Equestrian Center. They have horse competition events. They've got a lit arena. It has a house. It's on over 16 acres, and you can do anything agility with dogs. You can do horses. You can grow. Like go plant some grapes out there.
I thought you were thinking
No.
something else. I thought you were talking about Calaveras County or something.
No.
I have a Great Dane. He's like a horse.
Yeah.
Would that work?
Yeah, put a saddle on
I have
him.
Leon Burgers. Leon Burgers are St. Bernard, Newfoundland, and Pyrenees.
Oh,
so
really?
I should show you some pictures.
Yeah, we'll
I
compare
know.
giant dogs.
Yeah, and so this one is $650,000, and like I said, it has the ability to have events there, and it has this big, huge barn with 12 stalls. If you're a horse person or any type of animal, you want to have your own setup, just let me know.
Or a horse rescue place.
It also is qualified as a horse rescue.
I know, but there's a lot of people
Yeah.
who rescue horses,
Right.
and they put them up all over the place. They could buy this place and put them in one place.
Right. I mean, if they have any, it's actually an evacuation center
I understand.
for Mariposa. Yeah.
Just for
So-
Mariposa or anywhere?
Well, I guess anybody could probably bring them over there, but it's in Mariposa County. But yeah, I mean, it's a great time right now. People think that because it's winter, we'll just wait till spring. And I tell you, you know what? The more stuff that comes on the market, the more people that are looking. If you come up right now, and skiing is supposedly really good up there.
Supposedly. I
Yeah.
mean, there's hardly any snow right now. I mean, and what's nice about Twain Harte is the elevation is, unless it's 195% year or 175% year of snow, there's not a ton of snow there all the time.
No, I used to tell people we'd get snow 4 to 6 times a year, and probably 4 to 6 inches at a time.
Right.
And
it usually melts,
And then
right.
all of a sudden, one time there was like 5 feet. So, yeah.
Those are the 195%.
That's the other. But no, and right now, like I said, the weather's good. I think there might even be people golfing up there still.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is in Twain Harte.
Yeah.
Or at Sonora. Right? Is there a golf course in Sonora?
There is a golf course in Sonora, Mountain Springs, but they call it Tuolumne now.
Tuolumne?
Something like that, yeah. Yep.
No, I mean, even with us, I mean, we're surprised what we're doing to that property we bought right now. You know, they're grading the road and putting all this stuff in, and
Right.
normally they wouldn't be doing that, right? Could
Exactly.
be too much snow or too wet and all that fun.
Well, and we have different community events that are coming up. We've got a crab feed up there.
When is crab feed? I saw a flyer for
18th.
the 18th of January.
Yes. Yeah,
Do you still have tickets for that?
they do. And
Do you know
that's
how to get
through
a hold of them?
Optimist of Twain Harte.
Okay. Or we can probably get that for and
They
have
can
them put
message
on
me
our-
and I can do it, yeah.
Or we can put it on our Facebook page. Betsy, you did not tell them your phone number to get in contact with.
My
if you have
number is
questions about those properties.
209-604-2609. You can text or call. And my license number is DRE 01229794.
Had to think for a second, didn't you?
Like
What's your cell? Give them your cell number again, because people don't
209.
write that fast.
604, so 209-604-2609.
All right. So you done with all your properties?
Sure. I mean, people, you can just call and tell me you heard me on the radio. I love hearing that.
Do you?
A guy messaged me on Facebook and told me he enjoyed listening to this the show. Someone else saw me and said, "Hey, I listened to you when you were, I was in Sacramento," and that was cool.
You know, and a lot of people don't realize we turn it into a podcast afterwards. So any of the programs that we've had are on a podcast, and that's on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, any of the places that do the podcast. And you can go back and listen to the old ones, which are really good. I mean, we have one from a while back that was a 1031 exchange.
Right.
And I hear all the time people go back to that one and listen to it because that's important. You want to sell your property that is a rental right now, and you want to buy a second home in Tahoe because you got that. You can do that. There's rules where you can do that, and it's in that podcast. Any of the stuff we've had before, when we have elected officials are coming in to talk about or to be elected, I should say, people running for the office, talk about, you could go back and listen to them again to see what they said and what they stand for, because it's important to know that. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I know that's coming up is they're doing the Prop 13 thing, right? We got about 2 minutes for a break. Prop 13, where they were trying to change that for residential properties, and everybody was in an uproar. So now they're trying to do it for commercial properties. And one of the things I'm going to say and get off my soapbox is when you go in and you vote, please read what you're voting for. They have learned to say things or title them. Most people, they know that they just read the title. Mm-hmm. And if it sounds good, they're going to check yes. If it sounds like it doesn't work for them, they're going to check no. And that's the problem. If they didn't want the gas tax last time and they voted no for it, they got the gas tax because they knew how to word it. So you really need to know, not only is it important to vote, everybody vote, correct? Mm-hmm. But to read what you're voting for. Right? I mean,
and they changed the numbers. It's not really Prop 13. It's probably, I think it's Prop 50
I know, but the
or
Prop
something
13
like that
was
now.
before, and now they're changing it to health, safe,
90,
neighborhoods.
50,
You just got to know what they're doing, because it's all about taxes, and it's about, yes, it does help the community, but it's important for us to know what it's for. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because some of the stuff, the gas tax and some of the stuff was important for us, but not everybody knew that.
Mm-hmm.
But
exactly.
Yeah.
I know.
What you going to do? Go to a break. We'll go early and then pick it up when we get back.
Okay.
Again, if you want to get in contact with us, you can get us 24/7. You're hitting pound 250 and say the key phrase Real Estate Jerky. That was pound 250 key phrase Real Estate Jerky. Get us through radio at Real Estate Jerky. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Give us comments, leave a message. We'll talk to you when we get back. All right, so that leaves us 20 extra minutes on the other side.
I want to see the pictures of your real estate.
Oh, of the cabins?
Or you can get up there.
There was 37 listings in MILUC, I checked, and 6 of them are pending.
Isn't this where you bought your property?
We're at Cold Springs, yeah, higher
It
up.
was higher than that.
Which gets snow a lot, and that was the one thing that we don't. So I work Wednesday into Thursday up there Friday, and then stay the weekend when Marcia comes up. Mm-hmm. Well, end of January last year, into February, I told my wife, I'm not staying up here. I'm tired of moving 3 feet of snow just to park my truck overnight and have you come up.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Right after this time of the year last year, it all of a sudden hit.
Yeah.
I have ice scrapers to give out with my name on them, and I've got to get them out there before the weekend, just in
People love
case.
that.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the final segment.
Okay.
We got 9 minutes or 9 minutes and 20 seconds?
Like 9 minutes, 15.
Okay. I know about the one on the back end. You don't have to explain that to me.
So you want to remind them about your applications and stuff like that.
All right, yeah, so we're gonna have nine minutes and some seconds, and then what'll happen is I'll say, thanks for being here, and I'll just shut everything off. Then I have to stay and do this paragraph, or see this paragraph, which, yeah.
Are you going to say something about your son?
I can do that.
Yeah.
Or actually, I was gonna say something about the people who left, you know.
Yeah.
It's 82nd Airborne, got deployed. He's not gonna be in the 82nd Airborne, thank God. He's gonna be in Alaska.
Good.
Well, there's only so many divisions, and only a few hundred went. Special Forces.
Oh, they had someone on TV this morning, and I thought that person wasn't around anymore. Ayatollah Khomeini.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't know.
had a cane. Was really old.
I don't know.
And I was just surprised because I didn't hear that name for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
neither
how old you
I.
are, but
No, I remember the name,
That's
but
when I was
it's
in high
been some
school.
years.
yeah. I know. Well, they said it was 40 years.
Yeah, well,
When I was in high school, the Shah abdicated, and a lot of his friends moved to the United States. And I actually went to college with some of like their kids and the wife of someone that was their friend in Southern California.
Wow.
It was educational.
It's an interesting time,
Yeah.
isn't it?
yep, you ready to get this going? Last 9
do it.
minutes? All right.
Leaving the bull behind, it's Real Estate Jerky.
And we're back for our final segment of the show. I'm Ed Parcaut, your mortgage advisor at Lending for Living, and I'm here with my guest, Amy Vickery. She is the co-chair of the Steering Committee for Leadership Modesto program. That's her capacity today, that's what she's talking. And also Betsy Hurst-Younger, who is a realtor at Century 21 Wildwood Properties in Twain Harte. Now, we really supported Modesto today, the foothills, but I just want to let our listeners know that we support the San Joaquin, everywhere around us. It's important to us, and we're here for you. If you have any questions or anything, you can contact us. But, I also want to give a shout out, think about that, some people have been deployed this week, or I should say, end of this last week. 82nd Airborne, the Army going overseas, and we should have them in our thoughts while we're thinking about it. I normally would have wore my son's Army hat today, but my wife has it, and so I do have a challenge coin here with me. But it's important that we keep people in our thoughts, because a lot of things happen out there that the world is really weird right now, and it's going to be that way for a while. So let's keep people in our thoughts.
Yeah.
All right, so bringing it back to Leadership Modesto. What do you want to talk about there, Amy? Is there anything I forgot? Because you always correct me when I'm at the meetings. I always forget stuff, and you always bring it up.
I don't know. I feel like my memory is just getting worse as I get older, so I rely on a lot of people. But no, I think we covered a lot of the basics. I was asked to kind of pull together a list of names.
Hey, oh yeah, you mean past people have been in
want to
there?
Talk about that a little bit.
You'd be
the program
name dropper here.
Well, a lot of really amazing people have been through the program, and I think it's nice to kind of name some of those people because it gives you a sense of who's who and
because it's been around a
why
while,
right? Yeah, almost 40 years.
Yeah.
This is the 38th graduating class. So next year's class will be the 39th. If you apply and you don't get in next year, apply for the following one because 40th year would kind of be a good year to go through.
Right.
But no,
but that'll be harder to get in that year because we'll have more applicants. And
that could be true if we're doing our
39
jobs,
sounds good.
Ed?
39 sounds good.
So yeah,
39's always good.
It's an awesome program. Really, a backstage pass in all things how Modesto works and some of our challenges, some of our opportunities, what's great about our community. It builds knowledge. It builds a network. We know in business that you're most successful through relationships and strong relationships. So I think that's one of the biggest benefits of the program. It's just the connections and the friends that you make. And you mentioned that, Ed. But also the class project and the opportunity to give back to your community. There's a lot of negative perceptions that a lot of us are working day in and day out to try to change because we don't talk a lot about all of the great things that we have going for us. So this gives you a chance to see what some of those great things are.
Do you remember who the first class was? Or who was in the first class?
Well, I actually do have that here.
Wow.
The very first class of 82-83. And I don't know some of these names, but I can read it for you real quick. Ron Ashwanden, Gary Conover, Babetta Dedino, Dorothy Falco, Pamela Fisher, John Hurdle, Kathy Jensen, Odessa Johnson, I know that name, Ida Leal, Grace Lieberman. You remember that name, Grace Lieberman?
No.
She passed away a couple of years ago, but she was one of the community champions who was actually quoted that year as saying, "Leadership Modesto is people power, bringing together a group of people who believe in themselves, their work, and their city." She wrote a song about Modesto and would sing at the concert in the park and just was kind of one of our community icons. Wonderful, wonderful lady. George Lytle, Sheila Maribel, Michael Marker, James Mason, Mike Normoyle, Kathy Reinhart, Elise Schneider, Craig Smith, Ernest Spokes, and Steve Spriggs were in the first graduating class. But we've had a lot of really amazing people. Another quote I wanted to read real quick is by Dave Ben, who graduated in '93, and he was the former CEO of Memorial Hospital. He said, "Having been locally born and raised, I thought I knew it all about Modesto and Stanislaus County. Leadership Modesto has proven that I was wrong. I've learned a great deal about our community and have developed new acquaintances and friendships as a result of the program. I would highly recommend Leadership Modesto." And I couldn't say it better myself, really. It's such a great quote to encapsulate why the program is important. I was raised in Modesto, not born here, but raised in Modesto, graduated from high school in Modesto, graduated from CSU Stan, and I learned so much going through the program that I thought it was just so valuable. I treasured that experience and obviously still do. I'm still involved. So
I like the term backstage pass.
yeah, so
That's good. Kind of wraps it up.
yeah. So
'cause,
let
I
me.
mean, you find out stuff you have no idea.
Yeah.
So, real quick, just because
Take your time.
I
You got
was
a few minutes.
asked to compile a list of names, little name dropping for you. So, a lot of nonprofit and business leaders in our community have been through the program. You might recognize some of these names. Deshae McLeod from Community Hospice, CEO, she went through a few years ago. Kirsty Boyette was part of the class who raised, I think, the most money ever for the playground renovation I talked about. She's the CEO of the State Theater. Marianne Cannon, the Stanislaus Community Foundation president and CEO. David Boring and Julie Arona, who own Never Boring Design, went through. Julie Arona actually sits on our steering committee and helps bring the program together each year as well. Is part of the retreat committee too, and we have a lot of fun. She and I and a couple others who take the group each fall. Brian Fiscalini from Fiscalini Cheese went through a couple of years ago too, and I thought it was interesting to see that there was another Fiscalini that went through the program about 20 years before. It's kind of a family affair for a lot of these, and I saw that over and over. Public figures, Christy Allu, and Doug Ridenauer from our Modesto City Council went through the program. Sheriff Jeff Dirksey, as well as past sheriffs Christensen and Les Weidman. Judge Stacy Spieler went through the program. Stephanie Burnside, former city council member and owner of Burnside Automotive. And then just like cool people in the community whose names you probably know: Kate Trompeter, Mike Daniel with Final Cut Media, Mira Jantz from Mira's Bridal, Jeremiah Williams, Keith Boggs, our assistant CEO, who was on the steering committee a long time ago, Jeff Grover, who was on the Stanislaus County Board of Supervisors and business owner, community philanthropist, now on the board of the Community Foundation. Lots of really good people that you would definitely want to affiliate yourself with.
Right.
And
we've had
good.
past people on our show that's been on. David Lehman, who is the was he the chair
Public Works director.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of people who you don't know they got involved with this, right? He was in the class that I was in. That was a great class. So
it was a good class.
yeah, it was a great
you
year.
Guys,
We were a
you
great
guys
year.
were good.
But it's important to, for us, when we did our project, it wasn't about how much you raised, it's not what it is. It's just doing something that you're giving back to the community and that you can look back on and say, we did that. That's as a class. That's what we did. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how big it is. It doesn't have to be $100,000 now because the last class did $80,000 or $60,000 in the class before. It doesn't matter. Just get involved and if you can, please get involved this year.
Yeah.
This would be
Modchamber.org if you want to apply.
right. And if you want to, you can't remember any of that, you can email us at radio Real Estate Jerky, or you can call, do the pound 250, say the key phrase Real Estate Jerky, leave a message, and we'll get back with you what you need to get involved. I mean, there's many ways to find out. And if you want to re-listen to the podcast, go to the podcast and listen to this radio show on the podcast.
And can I just say, if you have been through the program and you're one of those hundreds of people who over 40 years benefited from it, and you have some interest in starting an alumni program, that would be a really good way for us to renew acquaintances with people who've been through and get back involved with the program. I think there's a need there, and we're sort of waiting for somebody to step up and take it on. So there's that.
Right, and because I think a lot of the issues is in the past, the chamber might not have all the people's information who went through the program, current information. They have emails from back then, or 40 years ago, they didn't have emails. Or, back then they didn't have that. They didn't have those and people's phone numbers changed. So please, if you want to get involved more, please, and even if you've been in the past class 6 years ago, want to be on the steering committee, contact us. Want to be a date share. We need all that help more. We need more people involved so this can get better.
Yes, we do.
Amy?
Thank you.
Do you think that in chambers
Betsy?
and other areas that they have this also, other than just Tuolumne County and Modesto?
Yes. Yes, they do.
Actually, Stockton has a program that's, I think, 1 year older than ours.
Yeah.
But we're a really old program comparatively to
Yeah,
ours.
so if you're not in this area and you're listening to this, check out for your chamber, see what they have, and get involved. Amy, thank
Absolutely.
you so much for being here. Betsy, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. You're so welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for listening.